I mean, at the time I thought it was great, but everyone thinks it's great in the beginning. Hello everyone, I'm Taylor Bambico. I'm a self-published author, both young adult and adult, and today it's official. Silent Rage has been out for 1 year. Now actually, the first time it was published was January of 2016 when I was at Smashwords. Of course, it was only available for a few months before I left there and I went to Drafted Digital, where I was able to actually make it available on Amazon and in print form as well. Now, of course, that was short-lived as well. I took everything down for a bit to really reevaluate what I was doing, but the whole thing was a great experience, really. And of course, the paperback option was removed from them as well, so I had to go over to, at that point it was known as CreateSpace, now it's just KDP. But today, the 15th of December, marks 1 year Silent Rage has been available. So today's video is all about my erotic thriller, Silent Rage. Now, the interesting thing about Silent Rage is, though initial drafts started back in about 2006, 2007, original concepts for character development actually date as far back as 1997. Yeah, that's going back. And of course, the story concept I've had for that long has gone through quite a few changes. I mean, for instance, the trucks Jedrick drives, those changed quite a bit, actually. In fact, one of the main trucks he has, the picture I usually have behind me, actually, or this book. That's not good. Yeah, that one I damaged. That truck, when I decided on it, was never in the initial running for one of the vehicles in this book. And it's funny how things like that happen. As I've said in earlier videos, one of the biggest influences for this series was Gunsmith Cats. Well, actually, that series was an influence on not just Silent Rage, but Parabellum and Traffic as well, and I have no idea why my head's going back and forth like this. And one thing that was pretty cool was I actually posted this photo on Instagram, which is pretty cool to see the series which influenced yours next to your works as well. I mean, come on, that is pretty cool. Now, I'm sure other authors have the same feeling when it comes to that they get to put their books next to books which influenced theirs. I mean, Gunsmith Cats was also what influenced me to get into firearms as well, and was also a reason why firearms are a big influence in all my works. I mean, look at the covers of my books. The characters all have a firearm in hand. And on the subject of firearms, so many of those changed throughout the book as well. I'm not gonna lie, Hollywood was kind of an influence on some of the scenes before I went back and fixed them to where they're more practical. For instance, the main shootouts that involves Jedrick, he's predominantly reliant on 2 or 3 firearms. One being, of course, an M16 variant, the other 2 being variants of the 1911. I mean, he used to actually use the SPAS 12 throughout the book, but I realized that's just not very practical. Though it looks cool, let's just be, as I said, practical about it. So instead, I decided to give Riley from Parabellum the SPAS 12, which, as I said before, was kind of the reasons I'm writing a sequel to Parabellum. And over the past few days, I've been looking over very early drafts with this. In fact, it actually wasn't draft for this, it was draft for Volume 2 of Silent Rage. I mean, here's some of the early stuff that I typed and some of the stuff I wrote, and I'm like, oh, just destroy it, it's bad. But of course I won't do that. I mean, at the time I thought it was great, but everyone thinks it's great in the beginning. Now, I'm no artist, but I guess I did do some sketching of what his house looked like. And even of the gun room, which changed quite a bit throughout the years as well. I mean, though I've been writing for 11 years or so, well no, it's just 11 years, not or so, I mean, it's just past 11. I mean, though that book is done, I get to look forward to Volume 2 and Volume 3. I'm going to get into that a little bit as well. And as I said in an earlier video about this, Volume 2 is not going to be all that long. It's probably going to be more along the lines of a novella. It might be a longer book, I'm just not sure right now. So with Volume 2 of Silent Rage, it is going to be picking up probably about an hour or so after the end of the first one, but that one will definitely be explicit when it comes to sexual content. Volume 3, I'm not sure just yet. I mean, there will be explicit sexual content in that, but it might not be as predominant as in the second one. And it's funny, those documents I showed you earlier, I'm using concepts from that for Volume 2, but it's just going to be with a different character. And the funny thing about what I showed you, was it like 20 seconds ago? I'm not sure. I did that before Volume 1 was even finished. I mean, I don't know why I'd started Volume 2 before Volume 1 was even thought of yet. I don't know. I really have no idea what I was thinking 12, 13 years ago. You read Volume 1, you'll have kind of an idea of what Volume 2 will be about. Volume 3 is going to be a very interesting story once I get everything set in stone. I shouldn't say set in stone, something might change. I'm just not sure yet. Man, so much stuff has changed with that story. I mean, as I said, the firearms changed, the trucks kind of changed. Initially, Jedrick was just going to have 1 truck, but now he has 3. As I said earlier, he has that Peterbilt, but he also has a Kenworth and a Western Star, kind of like the one behind me. Now, it does have a mask on it, not as large, it's actually much smaller, probably about yay big. And yes, there is a clown painted on the doors of the trailer as well. And it's funny how I kind of kept making a joke about this years ago. I kept thinking, what would I call it? It can't be Happy Toys. It has to be something different because, well, that's Stephen King's Maximum Overdrive. So I'm thinking, well, let's do something a little bit different. Let's call it Maniacal Toys. Which is interesting because Maniacal Toys, that could definitely be like an adult entertainment device for someone. I mean, I worked at an adult store for October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. About 8 months. Really fun time. It's fun. I've never actually been employed by a family-friendly venue before. And I did that because it was fun, and it was actually research for another work in progress, which I'll be doing a video about hopefully soon, because that's kind of a fun one as well. And yes, that book is definitely going to be erotic. It wouldn't make any sense if it wasn't. But yes. Anyway, back to Silent Rage and Maniacal Toys and all that. Yeah, Maniacal Toys. That would have been very interesting had that been the name of the truck in that movie versus Happy Toys. Of course, I like mine better. In fact, I was working on a painting for that. Anyway, this is just going to be a little video on how Silent Rage has been out for a year. Do consider subscribing if you haven't already. Click on that bell icon so you're notified when I upload new content. Leave your comments in the section below. I do enjoy reading those, and have a good day. See ya!